The third match of the third last day of the Hero Junior World Cup. It's a classification match for 5th and 8th place between Australia and New Zealand, the traditional rivals, facing off at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium in New Delhi, India, to earn the right to face Belgium for a shot at 5th place in this Hero Junior World Cup. As always, no shortage of support for the two traditional rivals, but some good camaraderie as they come out to the pitch. Australia in their familiar green and gold, green shorts and gold shirts, and up against them in black are the Junior Black Sticks. So the Burrows against the Junior Black Sticks on what has already been a dramatic day, with Belgium beating their opponents Korea 6-1, and following that it was France who made their way through to the final. Let's stand by first for the national anthems of the two teams, beginning with the home side for this fixture, Australia. Always an emotional moment to listen to the national anthem of your country, but I suppose both teams and both sets of supporters would be a little bit disappointed about the relevance of this game, but it's never irrelevant when Australia takes on New Zealand on the sporting pitch. Both these teams also played a similar match back in the Junior World Cup in 2009. That was for the third position when both of them lost their respective semi-finals. This time around it's come about one stage earlier, having lost their quarterfinals 3-4 at the hands of Germany for Australia. This is how Australia line up for this one. Not surprisingly for this game, Paul Goalie just resting a few of his key players to begin with. Young Ed Chittleborough will get his first start, number 30, the goalkeeper. Watch out for Daniel Beale, their captain, number 23, who's been outstanding, as also the number 26, Dylan Wotherspoon, with 3 goals. Paul Goalie, a very, very realistic person in terms of how he has assessed his team's performances. Was a little worried after the pool stages, even though they topped their pool with 3 victories on the trot. New Zealand have been the brave hearts of this entire Hero Junior World Cup campaign. Also brave in their 2-3 defeat at the hands of Netherlands. And their outstanding performer has by far been Kane Russell with 3 goals, all penalty corner conversions. But the goals in that quarterfinal came from Nicholas Woods and Benedict van Bochum. They are coached by this man, Grant Edwards, former assistant coach of both Wales as well as the New Zealand team, and has also coached and played for the Canterbury Cavaliers. Eric Kim Laiko of Malaysia and Fernando Gomez of Argentina going to be in the hot seat in terms of being umpires, and they'll be joined by Bruce Bale, who will assist them with the video replays. It's Australia who get things moving in this particular match. One of the first matches in terms of finding that spot for 5th and 8th classification. Australia in green and gold, and up against them in black, New Zealand are going from right to left. And Divine, and in the commentary box alongside me for the first time today, welcome Cedric D'Souza.
Good evening, Divine, and to all our viewers. I think it's going to be a real humdinger of a match. Both played a similar style of hockey, very physical, and I think you know, from the last, if you look at the last games also, it was very close games with Australia and New Zealand. So it's going to be a real tight one if you ask me in this game.
Yes, and I just wonder which of these two teams will play with that just a touch more freedom. Might well be New Zealand, considering that they would have felt quite happy at the fact that they made the quarterfinals. They gave Netherlands a bit of a fright, although on the whole the Dutch were the better team in their quarterfinal. In Australia, one could say they were just a little unlucky perhaps with the luck of the draw, coming up against a rampaging German side in spite of having topped their pool. But such is the nature of sport, such is the nature of the Hero Junior World Cup. Australia with possession at the moment. They have had some outstanding individual performances, and those will look to come to the fore. Jayshan Randhawa was just getting into the box, was looking to flick it on for his forwards. Wotherspoon was in a good position, as was the captain Daniel Beale. The Kiwi defense dealing with it well. Sanjay Lala has been outstanding right through. On to Jared Panchia. Got a good coasting run moving forward from Jeremy Morris, and that allows him to move on himself. Wins a free hit for his team. Good bright start here by the Junior Black Sticks.
Well, you made a very valid point, Divine, basically about the possession of this team. Whichever team holds possession and converts those possession and transfers them into shots at goal is going to be good for that team. Basically, you know, it's going to be not giving away easy turnovers, soft turnovers. The midfield support is in using the overlap play, and using the right and left defenders also would be very good employs by both teams, basically, because they play a similar style of hockey.
Uncharacteristic error just a while ago from Cameron Joyce, but this time he does well enough to just ensure that there were no alarms at the back. In comes Morris, comes off one of the sticks of the Aussies, but not intentional, so will go out for a long corner. With New Zealand, you always feel that their best chance to score comes when they get those short corners. That's what Australia must be wary of all through the night. That's well received. It's well passed too, but brilliant defending from Kane Russell. Nevertheless, here comes Joyce. Was looking for Flynn Ogilvie, who's also not had many starts in this Hero Junior World Cup. That's good to see. Paul Godoin just reposing of faith in some of his players who haven't had much of time on the field. Aaron Kershaw, another one of them. The lanky figure of Joyce makes the interception. This is Jeremy Hayward, the man from the Northern Territories. His mother also played hockey at state level. It's all in the gene pool. Ogilvie once again looking to put some pressure, but Kane Russell stands tall in defense. Looking promising down the right. Treffier, the captain. Well stolen by Russell. This one was sent in, looking for Treffier. The first touch coming from an Aussie stick. And here they come, looking for the counter-offensive. Taking their time with it, but also looking to spread the ball out to the right flank. Wotherspoon onto Randhawa, back on to Wotherspoon down the right. New Zealand defense standing firm. So thus far a good bright start from both teams, not showing any signs of nerves, possibly the fact that it's only 5th place that's at stake at best, taking the pressure off completely.
Yeah,
this one was sent in and well dealt with by Ben Smith, who had an outstanding game yesterday also against Netherlands.
I think if you look at this game, it's going to be very hard in terms of picking a winner. They play this, as I said, a similar style, but I'd like to see them actually use the width of the pitch much more. This cross ball from Australia was really dealt very well by Ben Smith, who's outstanding goalkeeper. As Divine said, he did a fantastic game against Netherlands the other day. And he's one of our candidates for the best goalkeeper of the tournament.
No doubt about that. There's a few who have put their hand up. What about Saunier today for France just a while ago in the penalty shootout? Brought on as a substitute right at the last instant and did well enough to thwart as many as 3 Malaysian strikers. Now this is Beale, the captain. He's got some men for moving forward. Pass needs to be a precise one, and it is. Frank Main sends it in. Kane Russell is first to it though.
Well, a great interception by Kane Russell, because that ball was going at a nice pace for a deflection into the net if he had touched it. But Kane Russell had come in the right spot at the right time, intercepted that ball and put the ball over the back line for a long corner.
Cedric, we've heard right through this Hero Junior World Cup, both from you as well as David, that what the senior coaches will be looking for here is temperament. And that is another indicator that when your team is out of contention for anything serious, your commitment level should still be at 100%. That is something that will please the coaches, won't it?
Very much so. You play for your pride, you play for your country, and you got to show your temperament as well as your capacity as a player to face all sort of adversities and to keep firing on all cylinders, no matter what rank you come in. You must fire all the time.
This time it's the Aussies hoping to fire. They found themselves with some space, but yet again it was some good harrowing defending. Just made sure that they put enough of a physical presence in there. Angus Hazlett as well as Sanjay Lala doing well. This is Jared Panchia. All the way back to Cameron Joyce. This was slipped through nicely by Luke Noblet. Feels like ages ago when Noblet had a goal disallowed in their opening fixture, which was against Argentina. 5-2 against Argentina, 2-0 over Spain, 2-0 over France, who are now in the final. So just look at the way that fate sometimes designs things for you.
Well, it's a question of your performance on that given day. How well you perform and how well you play and how many chances you convert. You cannot say that if France beats me and France, loses somebody else, I'll beat the other person. It's very difficult to say that, yeah. It's just a question of who plays very well on that given day. New Zealand using the width of the pitch, especially the right side. But if you look at the game now, you'll just see that the entire pitch can be divided into half from the penalty spot to the right-hand side. There's so much of space on the left-hand side which could be utilized by a switch and then down to the left.
That's what Lala is aiming to do, but it's very nicely intercepted. Just can't keep it in play. Beale has really been an outstanding performer for his team, leading from the front.
Well, Divine, when you want to switch a ball, the ball has to be very fast. If it is slow, the opposition gets time to regroup and get that ball. So it has to be very fast, and the ball speed has to be, as you say, at lightning pace.
Daniel Beale, the only man in this Aussie team with senior team experience, but Frank Main has been outstanding for them. He's done well, but oh, Ben Smith has just done better. Super Ben to the rescue.
A fantastic save, a nice long ball played down, and a great save by Ben when he comes out forward, smothers the angle, closes down the player, gets him into his net, and then just puts the ball with his reverse stick outside. Really fantastic. The goalkeeper gets you into what is called his net, is within his reach, and then he throws his body down, smothers the ball, and a great save by Ben.
Once again, the Aussies come rampaging forward in good numbers, but cannot quite put the finishing touches this time. So a good pacey start inside the first 10 minutes. No goals as yet, but Australia looking to make some positive moves. New Zealand showing that they are not taking any backward steps, as is the case in every Australia-New Zealand sporting encounter.
New Zealand predominantly firing from the right-hand side. They should be able to use the left because it's only right, and Australia is regrouping and getting that ball very easily from the right-hand side. Although it's a strong side of New Zealand, Australia is still regrouping well enough in defence. The important thing is to switch the game as fast as possible and use the left also, and keep the defence stretched.
This time Matt Rees-Gibbs will be disappointed, giving the ball away, and the Aussies make him pay for it. Looking for the pass going forward was Casey Hammond, but Justin Douglas just couldn't make his way across on time. Nevertheless, possession still with Australia. Oliver McIntyre, who has also been quite outstanding, made a goal line save in the do-or-die fixture which the Junior Black Sticks won against South Africa over on Monday. Really has been a dramatic Hero Junior World Cup. We've already identified one of the finalists. One big match yet to come, Germany against Netherlands. That's at 8 p.m. local time, just about 2 hours from now. Here comes Kane Russell, surrounded by a number of Aussie shirts, and that enforces the error.
Well, basically, I think what happens in this is that you have to beat the 1 versus 1s. You have to win the 1 versus 1s in this kind of a game, and then quickly release the ball to another player. Otherwise, it's going to be, they're both so quick. They close it down so fast. They track the ball so much. It's going to be difficult to get spaces, open spaces. You just look at the game where it's just blocked up. Everything is just blocked up. They got man-to-man in defense there. The midfield is also caught.
Must guard against any defensive errors, and that applies equally for both teams. Matt Rees-Gibbs scored a dramatic equaliser late in the game against England. Very relaxed bench. Only the coach on his feet at the moment, Paul Godoin, chatting with him after the previous, the last league match that they played against France, which I just mentioned a while ago. One would have thought after 3 successive victories would be over the moon, but he was very realistic. Kept emphasizing to his boys that the tournament is far from over. And no doubt that's what he would have told them here, even though there's only minor placements to play for, but there's still that professional pride that Cedric mentioned.
Paul Godoin is a fantastic coach. He's been there at the two Olympics, won 2 bronze medals, won a Champions Trophy gold medal. He knows what it's all about. He knows what the pressures of it is. He knows exactly what top-level hockey is, and he's got his words to play exactly as he plays. The good thing about him, he was a brilliant centre midfielder, and if you look at Jason Randhawa, he plays in the similar style of what Paul does. Give and go.
Well, this time it's the Aussies who are looking to give and go. That move was brilliantly broken down, starting from Randhawa. And just mentioned by Cedric, this is Gilmore. Will Gilmore winning a free hit in a useful position. No penalty corners yet in this match. Tells you about the discipline in both ranks in defense. Sanjay Lala. Oh, he'll be disappointed with that. Angus, as later was that Nick Elder. Now this has been slipped through quite usefully for Frank Main. And a critical intervention coming in. Sanjay Lala again, the man.
Well, a nice little pass to Frank Main, but Sanjay Lala, as you said, made a fantastic tackle. There he does it again.
Yes, beautifully done.
He gets low and keeps the center of gravity low and just steals the ball from Frank Main.
Snatching the ball away on a couple of occasions from the Aussie strikers. And this is a good ball through from McIntyre. Radovonic, it's 2 against 2, looking to get into the attacking third, but a good bit of defending from Matthew Dawson.
That was a nice play by New Zealand. They played the ball down the flank very quickly, and one of the strikers moved into space very well, leading onto the wide. Played the ball back to him, but a great tackle by Matthew Dawson.
One thing's for sure, these first 15 minutes are proof of the fact that these two are very good, disciplined units. They've put the disappointments of the quarterfinals behind them, giving it their best shot. Now this one was slipped through, didn't get a touch along the way. Nicely read by Ben Smith. discipline will be reflected in the numbers, which are pretty equal. Slightly more possession, greater possession for Australia. More circle penetrations too. Just the one shot. It was nicely saved by Ben Smith. Last few minutes, New Zealand have done well to just quieten down the channels and force Australia to come a lot more central in terms of their attacking. But this is their opportunity. Yet again, a ball through the centre. Looking for it, looking for the man running down the right. Just couldn't get across to it. Supporters from both sides, families and friends, and they've been outstanding.
But when both teams are playing one direction in hockey, one-dimensional hockey, it's either left or either right. It's not left and right in the same movement. They must switch the game. They must, if they want to crack this defense. Defense is open. Switching and then firing the ball in the center will get them, chances because they change the point of attack.
This is looking a little bit more promising. Jayshan Randhawa once again getting into a good position. The final slap, rather the reverse stick coming in from Justin Douglas, but just not able to get under it enough.
It took a deflection of Lala actually, and the ball went over the sideline for a long corner.
The Kiwi defense has been on the mark right from the first minute. They've had a lot to deal with, and just as we saw in the previous game, France kept attacking and eventually they got their just reward against Malaysia. Will that kind of a story repeat itself? But New Zealand have looked very dangerous on the counter-offensives too. That's what the Australians must guard against. But this time they're moving forward. It's hit in nicely. Again, comfortably dealt with by Kane Russell, still bobbling about. Angus Hazlett lending a hand. This is Miskimin. Elder. All the way back to Russell. Now moving forward yet again through the right. Captain Crefier.
When New Zealand is in attack, you find the ball was on the right-hand side just now. The left defender was standing behind us watching the game. He needs to come up into attack as much as possible.
It's a long ball which would have been dangerous. And the infringement in any case going against the Australian striker. Some anxious moments on a few occasions for the New Zealand defense. Now this is a good long ball. It's been well received by Crefier. He's got three men inside the box to try and pass to. And the first penalty corner goes the Kiwi way. And that will mean that Kane Russell will just roll up his sleeves if he had any. These are sleeveless jerseys, but he'll be taking his chance now.
Well, it was a great aerial ball played down from the left to the right-hand side. Came into the circle, and Justin Douglas didn't have his feet covered completely. Actually, the first rule in the defense is to make sure that you cover your feet. And he committed himself by keeping his stick on the right-hand side, exposing his left foot, and a penalty corner is ensured from that. Kane Russell has been lethal from his drag flicks, and he's a senior player for the national team, and let's see what he can do in this one. But
he's actually not involved in this action, so it will be Muir right on top of the circle. He's the only man who's poised to go for it, so they might perhaps go for a variation unless he goes straight with it. George Muir is looking for the deflection. This time does come off a foot and will be yet another penalty corner.
Well, if you look at that, he tried to slap hit this ball for the two strikers waiting in for the deflection, but Australia was the first charger, hit him on his foot, and a penalty corner.
Still will be George Muir. From the right, Harry Miskimin will be looking to get across to the far post, and that's exactly where it's heading. Well, the follow-up is in! It's a deserved reward for Jared Panchia. He has been outstanding for them right through this Hero Junior World Cup, and yet again, New Zealand proved to be lethal from the penalty corner route in spite of not having Kane Russell out there.
Well, the penalty corner played right into the deep into the left-hand side of the goalkeeper. He pans the ball. His body balance is on the back foot. He falls down, and Panchia gets the rebound and just flickers the ball inside of the goal. A great presence of mind by Panchia, but I say George Muir did a great job by just pushing the ball in the box without any much of trouble.
And this time it's an action at the other end. It's a penalty corner earned by the Australians. So the action really getting cranked up. And that will mean that Australia have an immediate opportunity of replying to Panchia's response in the 20th minute. Off the foot, definitely off the foot, and ironically it's Kane Russell, so his first contribution.
There's also a shove. There's also a shove by Kane Russell, so he's lucky not to have got a card. But Australia's always does this. You get a goal against them, and in the next minute they always fight back and push you under a lot of pressure.
Let's see, Casey Hammond got a goal against Argentina, and they've also got some other options. Ed Joyce is in there. So is Matthew Dawson. A lot of players who've not played too many matches thus far in the Hero Junior World Cup. So that element of surprise, although having said that, I'm sure the junior Black Sticks would have played against them often enough to know all their strengths and weaknesses. So Joyce at the top of the box with Dawson alongside him. It is Joyce. It's saved by Smith. And it will be yet another penalty corner.
Well, the flick was hard and true, but it came right in the center, and Ben Smith had no trouble batting the ball. Fortunately for him, actually, it hit his pads and it nearly went through the gate.
Yes, and in that melee, the ball just getting stuck under him. With Kane Russell and Sanjay Lala at least giving him good support. That's good to see. Defensive formation, keeping it the way that they would want it to be. Muir and Hazlett in there as well. The 4 men in defense, along with the goalkeeper. The mandatory 5, that is the restriction in terms of defending a penalty corner situation. Joyce again, and this time he doesn't miss. Australia, just like that, are back in it. And it's Cameron Joyce with his second goal of this Hero Junior World Cup.
Well, he flicked the ball, but it deflected off George Muir's stick and went past Ben Smith's head, actually. Very powerful. The goalkeeper has absolutely no chance of a deflection. And no matter what, if he was on his angle or not, there was no way he could have trapped that ball, saved that ball. It was just far too fast after a deflection.
So inside 3 minutes, the reply comes in from Australia. Cameron Joyce with a ferocious shot, but here's the deflection, just not helping Ben Smith, and the exasperation was all too evident to see from the goalkeeper. He thought he had it covered, but it certainly opened this game up now. A couple of penalty corner conversions. One from New Zealand's Jared Panchia. Both of them just a little bit fortuitous, but sometimes you need that kind of luck, and you need that kind of pluck as well to go with it. This is very nicely stolen by Frank Main. On his turn, he has found Ogilvy. Flynn Ogilvy hasn't seen much of action thus far in this Hero Junior World Cup, but an impressive start in these first 12, 13, or rather 25 minutes or so. Joyce has had a good eventful start, been involved in a lot of defense, and now this goal. Watch out for that wicked deflection. Suddenly, there's a spring in the stride of the Australians, although having said that, they don't need the concession of a goal always to do that.
Well, I think there's both teams have got this spring in their strides, basically, because New Zealand also is pushing up more people into attack. So do Australia at the moment.
Now this is Frank Main. As Cedric has mentioned before, nothing much to choose between these two teams in terms of skill. And also their temperament has been first class right through this Junior World Cup campaign. So what it could boil down to is the physical reserves, how much gas they've got left in the tank. Joyce.
Both teams track the ball so much, they've closed on the spaces, not allowing the ball carrier to the option of passing.
Goalie was the one sending this one in. It needed a touch on, and that's exactly what was on the mind of the striker.
A nice cross ball, deflection of Main, but just outside.
Frank Main has been a threat, 2 goals already. And in critical situations, that's been a feature of this young Australian team. Marks out some of these young men as stars of the future. As mentioned, only Daniel Beale with any international experience. So no doubt the Aussies will be looking to have a few of these young Baras go up into the senior team. Paul Benoit and company will keep close watch on proceedings on their development as players. New Zealand unable to repeat the heroics of 2009 when they made the semi-finals for the very first time. But this is a good move coming forward and beautifully intercepted. That was done so easily. Really was an extraordinary bit of defending by Luke Noblet. Coming towards the closing stages of this first half, but it really has been an intriguing first 27 minutes or so. A goal apiece coming from the penalty corners, but the open play has also been swift from both teams and very positive to see.
Well, I think Australia's pushing more people up front, especially the midfielders. The midfielders are pushing up, the strikers are pushing up into the circle, creating a lot of space for themselves in the center of the park. New Zealand's trying the same thing now. If you look at it, you just got 3 in defense, the rest are all up. You've got 3 in the 25, and now the New Zealand is pushing up more midfielders too. So the kind of same kind of tactics are being employed.
Australia just winning a few more of these loose balls in midfield, and that has been an advantage for them. Not make the most of it this time around. Casey Hammond just unable to pick it up. Nevertheless, does win possession for his team. You get the impression, irrespective of who scores next, they won't really pull away because of the reasons that Cedric mentioned. The fact that there is not much to choose in terms of their styles, in terms of their capacity as well. Having said that, though, considering it's a placement match, it'll be interesting to see what happens if one of the teams just gets a little bit of a gap between the other, maybe 2 goals or 3 goals. Then it will be an interesting test of character for the team chasing the game.
Talking about gaps, I think if they can use the aerial ball into the gaps that are being created by the midfield pushing up, that would be good, because once the midfield pushes up, there is space in the center of the park which could be exploited by the right and left defenders.
Very high press from the Aussies, moving right up to the defensive third. And virtually everybody now inside the Kiwi side of the pitch, barring the Aussie goalkeeper for this match, Chitubara. This time the Kiwis get a chance to break this attack and get a free hit of their own and just move the pressure away from their goal mark. Three men moving forward, and one of them does receive this ball. Kingston does well. Randhawa. Very well picked up by Main. Does look like one of the potential stars of the future. Exciting young talent. Moving forward with good pace and control. Turning this one in. Well dealt with by Rhys Gibbs. Tyler Cowley. Radofonic. does well to win this free hit for his team and wins his defense a little bit of breathing space.
Well, the strikers go back in defense to help the defense, and what's good to see is that they're not losing the ball even when they are going back in defense. Although they are attackers, they still don't lose it easily. They're strong on the ball.
Even in terms of the scoreline, Australia with much more of the possession, 63%. A lot of the game being played in the New Zealand half of the pitch. That's why they've got 5 more circle penetrations, but quite equal in terms of shots, 3-2. What matters, of course, is the efficiency and the efficacy of those shots, and in that respect, it's New Zealand who've just shaded it in terms of 1 out of 2. Angus Hazlett on to Panchia. For him, the options up front include Richie inside the box. Richie looking for this pass. First to it, though, is one of the outstanding Aussie defenders today.
Very nice mobile defense there. They're moving all the time. They're marking very well. They can pick up the ball by running in front of the attackers.
It's a long ball and it's beautifully received by Ogilvy, winning some time and some space for his attackers, but they cannot quite take advantage of it. Yes, there's been a good exhibition of defending from both teams. Paul Benoit will be pleased with the performance of his number 4, Matthew Dawson.
If you look at that movement that Australia just did, there were 6 people in the circle. You can just tell you how many they're pushing up into attack.
These teams fighting for the right to play Belgium, and the team that wins that match will eventually finish 5th in this Hero Junior World Cup. Not quite what they would have intended when they set off for the Indira Gandhi International Airport, but nevertheless, 5th will always have a better ring to it than 7th. New Zealand showing that they have some great potency on the attack as well. Long ball, but a bit too long. Should be easily dealt with by Ben Smith, allowing it to roll out.
Well, if you count the amount of players again just now in the circle and the 25-yard line, when New Zealand had the ball on the baseline, there were 6 again. So you're talking about both teams employing their midfield, coming into attack as much as possible, and just holding the defense with a 3-man defense.
A bit like 2 heavyweight boxers exchanging a lot of blows. 2 of them have led to some cuts, but nothing major as yet. 1 apiece from New Zealand and 1 from Australia. Good pacey game of hockey being played out. Panchia this time was looking for the run down the left of his teammate Michael Ritchie. Wasn't read perfectly enough. And now it's a chance for the Aussies to come away with the ball, but yet again picked up well by the junior Black Sticks. Panchia, the goal scorer for them, threw on to the captain Crefier, and just unable to control that down the right was Morris, who's been a constant presence right around the Australian goal mouth. Ball which will be very easily received by Kershaw. This is well done by Douglas. Douglas was the man who opened the scoring for them in the first match. He slipped this ball through, and for once the New Zealand defense didn't have a lot of clue about where that ball was.
Well, the first thing was the aerial ball from defense right across the Empire Park, and Douglas came inside beautifully, cut inside into the circle, looked like he was going to hit the ball, but he played a pass for his player leading into the baseline, but he just mistrapped the ball.
Yes, Frank Main was in a very, very good position, and he had done well enough to get away from Kane Russell. Into the last minute now. Can New Zealand finish it on a high? Looking good from them yet again. It's Ritchie. Ritchie and Jeremy Morris have done a lot of hard work up front, with Crefier in support. Well, sometimes when the pace of hockey is good and when there's been some good entertainment, then the 35 minutes do tend to whiz past. Oh, this one whizzed very close to the goal. Still a follow-up. But by then the whistle had been blown. New Zealand came awfully close to finding their second of the night.
Well, a great cross ball. And Chitterberg did very well today in the goal to pat that ball, because it was a clean deflection by the number 17 of New Zealand, Benedict, who could have got the ball inside the net. Panche got the rebound, but the whistle already gone.
And the hooter has already gone as well, but it has been a very, very exciting first 35 minutes in this match. It was New Zealand who took the lead in the 20th minute with a penalty corner conversion eventually effected by Jared Panchia, with Kane Russell off the pitch. And almost immediately, Kane Russell's mistaken defense led to a couple of penalty corners coming from Australia. And of the second of them, the conversion was effected by Cameron Joyce, with a wicket deflection giving no chance to this man, Ben Smith. But otherwise, it has been all action stations at both goal mouths. And it promises for more in the night in this Trans-Tasman battle between Australia and New Zealand. But at the halfway point, it's honours even at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium. The half-line score is Australia 1, New Zealand 1. Well, the DJ on the public address system at the Major Dhyan Chand Stadium is playing "Tonight's going to be a good night." It's already been a great night, and it's far, far from over. This match, it's for classification place, and halftime is poised on level terms in every sense of the word. Australia with 1 goal, New Zealand with 1 goal as well, and chances aplenty in what has been a very, very open game. And Ben Smith carrying on with his good work right through this Hero Junior World Cup, increasing his reputation and his stock in leaps and bounds with every match that he plays, denying Frank Main early on. Then this penalty corner fell to the Kiwis, and the Junior Black Sticks going ahead in spite of not having Kane Russell in the middle, and that element of surprise helping them. Initial shot hit in by Muir, and while a half stop was made, Jared Panchia was quick to pounce on the rebound. Now this shot which came in from Joyce, just taking a deflection and making it virtually impossible for Ben Smith to deal with. And inside 3 minutes, just like that, Australia were back on level terms. Muir, in a sense, involved in goals at both ends. Then late in this first half, in fact, in the closing seconds, this chance falling, where Van Vokrum had a chance of first finishing it off, and then Jared Panchia getting to it by the time the whistle had been blown. Quite even on most counts, 3 shots to 3, 10 circle penetrations to 4, and a bit more possession for Australia. But the crucial one, penalty corners, which is a strength for both teams, has been virtually cancelled out, which is why we have the score in front of us. Join us on Facebook, where we are at FI Hockey, and on Twitter at FIH_hockey, and send in your comments with the hashtag HJWC. That's Hero Junior World Cup. The friends and families and supporters in every sense of the word have been in good spirits. And while they've not really been able to get across to where they would have wanted, which would have been in the semi-finals, they'll be quite pleased with what's transpired this evening. Belgium have already made their place to the 5th place playoff following their 6-1 victory over Korea. And France and Malaysia went right down to the wire. It says 4-2 there. It was 1-1 after 70 minutes, and eventually in the shootout, France showing a little bit more composure in spite of missing their first shot, and then Malaysia scoring one, so they were 1-0 ahead at one stage, but France winning it 3-1. And the second semi-final at 8 p.m. local time is Germany against Netherlands. That will be an absolute cracker of a match in terms of a one can hope for. And speaking of crackers, well, tomorrow, watch out for the one right at the bottom. For 9th and 10th place, it's Pakistan versus India. And gradually, as the day goes on, the seriousness of the matches, in a sense, will improve. The first one, Egypt against Canada, to just get across to the 15th place and avoid 16th. England and Spain for 13th, and South Africa and Argentina for 11th. The winner of this match will get a chance to contest with Belgium on Sunday for 5th position. And the Baras have made a good fight back into this particular match after going a goal down against the Junior Black Sticks. In the commentary box, still alongside me, is 2-time former Indian coach Cedric D'Souza, who's just had a little bit of a walkabout, meeting up with old friends. Some of the real class acts of world hockey are around here as well today, and it's great to see a great atmosphere for these young players to be playing in.
Well, nothing like the youngsters playing against their former heroes, and it just encourages them, it just motivates them to play at a level. To see their heroes saying well done or giving them a pat on the back, it's fantastic. Yeah.
Perhaps was reflected in India's performance last night when the senior Indian team was around, and also the fact that the pressure in a sense was off. Taking on Argentina really did play somewhat up to their potential that we know them to play at. 4-2 on the night. Let's see who will make a name for himself today. Butterini is back in goal. In fact, that's Chittelbara. Very similar in structure and in his looks to Andrew Butterini, the man who's normally been the #1 for Australia in this Hero Junior World Cup. Wotherspoon hasn't found his goal-scoring touch yet, but always a constant threat when moving forward. And this man has been outstanding. Ben Smith, one of the contenders, as Cedric pointed out, for possibly the goalkeeper of the tournament, which is one of the individual awards which will be given, we're told, at the end of the tournament. So just about set for the pushback in the second half. Both teams coming out quite early, looking quite relaxed, and we can expect just as much entertainment in the second 35 as we did in the first. This time, New Zealand in black, defending their goal on the left, and Australia going from right to left in their gold and green. Some hustling early on from Kane Posselt leads to a free hit for his team. Scooping this one up. Joyce has done well. Oh, he's turned this one back, and for a while Ben Smith was wrong-footed. Just did well enough to divert it. And just the early signs here, Cedric, that they seem to have taken your advice on board. They're switching the ball quickly.
Well, for teams which play only on half the pitch, you know, length and the length of half the pitch, the important thing to use the other side, which is open all the time. And that was the ball which is played, the aerial ball right across the park. And if you look at this game in the first half too, there were some aerial balls which came across the park and it really made a difference to the goal scoring basically.
And in the end was innocuous, but just didn't expect, I'm sure, Ben Smith for that ball to come through from Joyce. Lots and lots of potential heroes on either side. This is one of them, George Muir, one of 3 men in this New Zealand team with international experience. The others being Jared Panchia and Kane Russell, and all 3 have made their presence felt right through this campaign for them. Jayshan Randhawa, resident of Victoria. In fact, a bulk of the squad coming from 2 states principally, Victoria as well as New South Wales, 2 of the hotbeds. Interestingly, not many players coming from Queensland, which has produced a class act like Jamie Dwyer. But speaking to some of the Australian players, when you ask them about their hockey idol, there's only one name on their lips, and that is Jamie Dwyer. Important, I suppose, in any sport to have a role model, and when that role model comes from your own country and specifically from your own part of the country, it can act as a huge fillip and just send a lot of people going across to play that sport.
You look at that pass, trying to go through the center when there are so many New Zealand defenders. It won't happen. You got to switch that ball, do a faster rotation, move the ball faster, and then try and fire the ball into the circle.
This was another observation you made in the first half, Cedric, that New Zealand weren't using the left flank enough. This time the attack coming down the left and immediately putting some pressure on Australia. It's only a long corner, but this is a good play from the Junior Black Sticks. This has been struck in, but Chittleborough gets his boots across to it. Daniel Beale looking to send a defense-splitting pass across. Earlier today, before the matches began, was just having a conversation with my co-commentator, and he was talking about the fact that the goalkeepers these days have very, very light equipment, and just talk about that after this pass, perhaps.
Well, that pass, sorry to cut you in, that pass was actually a great pass because the ball was saved by Chittleborough, and who kicked that ball, save and clear from his left foot right across to the left-hand side. And in 3 touches, the ball was already almost in the circle there. 3 touches. That's what speed hockey is all about.
This time a couple of deflections, still falling free. Eventually Sanjay Lala does well enough. Joyce will try and send this one in, looking for the reverse hit, but just wide. And we were just talking about goalkeepers, and Ben Smith, like most modern goalkeepers, does look a little like a character out of RoboCop, but as you were mentioning, that these are very light equipments, aren't they?
Yeah, they're basically high-density foam, which takes the recoil, as well as when you thrust your body into it, you get this rebound, which is really hard.
This time action at the other end. Chittleborough not yet pressed into action with his high-density foam. Lot more fluency in the second half. The wings being utilized quite effectively by both teams. This one was played in a little bit raised, and that's why the free hit going New Zealand's way.
Still finding that they're playing only one directional, one-dimensional, one-directional basically. Basically what they're doing is they're just going down the channel one side. They'll have to learn to switch the game to the other side. And when you switch the game to the other side, fire the ball into the circle, especially if the strikers move to the baseline.
Beautiful take by Dawson, who really has been one of the standout performers for the Aussies today. And now Beale, the captain, running rings around the defense. Oh, that was a great opportunity. And yet again, Smith just made sure that he made himself a big physical obstacle to work around.
Well, look at that beautiful passing. Comes to the baseline, ball played to the baseline. He looks for a minus pass, puts his head up, looks for the minus pass, plays it past Ben Smith's pad, but it goes into his player's foot and a free hit for New Zealand.
He's so quick at closing down the angles is Smith, and it's enforced a few errors out of the attacking players from Australia when moving forward. But what's been interesting is, in spite of all the fluency, there's been no field goal in this match as yet. Perhaps underscoring Cedric's point that some of the attacks have been a little bit unidimensional. So the defense knows exactly what to expect and exactly what they're dealing with. The junior Black Sticks just getting a little bit of support from a small section of the crowd which is cheering for them. And they make the most of this momentum behind their back. Here they come. Angus Hazlett gives ball away, and this is an opportunity for the Aussies. It's 2 against 2 in defense. And a few more men looking to join in the attack, but in the end it was nicely done by Sanjay Lala. Put enough pressure on Wotherspoon.
Well, Wotherspoon again had this ball, and he was waiting for the correct moment when he could play the ball across to his striker who was running in. All he had to do was play the ball back to one of his midfielders and move himself up, and then get the return pass or a long pass to his opposite player.
The man at the center of it was Justin Douglas, and he was perhaps a bit too focused in terms of finding Douglas, thus giving Sanjay Lala an easy task of just coming alongside him and enforcing the mistake. Nevertheless, still with Aussie possession. Nicely played in, well shielded by Douglas. He's moved his way in, but he has also conceded a free hit in the process. Won 71 goals already in this Hero Junior World Cup. This is the 35th match. It's been a very, very good action-packed tournament right through, and it's only going to get better from here on with something at stake in virtually every match. Here's Casey Hammond. Beautifully done, and an easy tap-in the end. This is what the Aussies are capable of, and that's exactly what they've delivered this time. Dylan Wotherspoon with his 4th goal of this Hero Junior World Cup. Easiest of finishes, but really created by the midfield of Australia.
Well, a long ball played from the deep defense to the center midfielder. Center midfielder gets the ball, plays it down to the flank. He comes in, looks up, looks for Wotherspoon, plays an early ball, beating Russell Kane, who is coming on close the angle. And Ben Smith was beaten because of the ball played away from his pads.
So we're not picking any sides, but we both got what we wanted. You got some movement along the flank, some switching of the ball quickly. And I got what I was mentioning, the no field goal. Well, here's the first one, the 44th minute strike from Dylan Wotherspoon. But here come New Zealand, almost immediately back on the attack. That's what this rivalry and this match has been all about. George Muir has been electric right through. And he'll be hoping to make a presence of himself in the Australian defensive third. It's very neatly received and quite quickly put into the attacking position as well by Justin Douglas, just finding a foot of Kane Russell. Still 25 minutes to go, Cedric, so that's the good thing about it, that New Zealand have every chance of coming back, especially if they can create some penalty corner opportunities.
Well, the first two that they got penalty corners that they received. Kane Russell was not in pitch; he was out of the pitch, so they used George Muir as their penalty corner flicker. But he didn't flick the ball; he just hit the ball inside. So I think with Kane Russell playing this entire half now, it looks like they must try and get penalty corners and give him the chance to use his prowess.
At the moment, forced to pull back because Australia are coming up with a series of attacks. They know that there isn't too much of a gap between the two teams, while there's just a 1 goal difference between them. Dawson once again played into the box, but played high.
I think it's a good time, opportune time to explain to the viewers that with the ball is risen.
Let's talk about that in a second as Australia come forward yet again, but the New Zealand defence holds firm. Yes, you were saying, Cedric.
If the ball is risen onto your own player, it's not dangerous. But if the ball is played into a zone which there were two players together, that is dangerous. Or a ball is played high, ball is played into an opposition player, that is also dangerous.
And this is New Zealand hoping to make the most of this moving attack. Kane Russell finds Radovonic. Got some options inside the box, but again well dealt with by Matthew Dawson, who really has been a standout performer for Australia in defence today. The long ball meant for Justin Douglas, but just couldn't get across to it.
But Matthew Dawson, every time the ball has come into the circle, he's been able to intercept that ball and anticipate and then intercept the ball every time because of his speed. And if you look at that ball he just played after he intercepted that ball, was a great flick down the flank, but a mess up by the striker.
We talked early on in this game about seeing for ourselves how much commitment, how much concentration and perseverance we'd see from the teams, and I don't think either of the coaches can complain. It really has been a fine effort in terms of giving their 100%.
Well, you wouldn't say this is the 5th to 8th place match. You know, they're playing with full power and gusto and commitment.
Still a little over an hour to go for the marquee match of the night, I suppose. Germany against Netherlands. Rematch of 2009's final, this time for a place in the final against France. Who would have thought on the opening night on 6th of December? Perhaps not the French themselves, but they have really done well to make their way across to the final of this Hero Junior World Cup. Decision given in favour of Australia, and long ball immediately released. Here's Van Fokum looking to find Morris in a good attacking position, but before that there were a number of Aussie defenders who fell back, and this is Jayshawn Randhawa. Josh, as they call him, his teammates. Bringing together some beautiful passes in this half. Again, it's Randhawa with a good ball in. And it wasn't too far away from a good touch from Ogilvy. Douglas, in fact, in that position. That was close, wasn't it?
Well, it was a great combined movement by the Aussies. Jason's pass was a really nice pass, but a great interception by the number 6 on New Zealand. It's not Lara, it was Hazlitt. Really good tackle there. You know, Lara's been playing all over the place. You know, he's such a great player. We think he's intercepting every ball, but that was a good take by Hazlitt.
Some outstanding individual impacts in this game already. It's a scoreline of 2-1, but for some quality defending on either side, could have seen a few more goals. As the rotation, which is always so methodical from the Australians. Everybody knows exactly what the idea is likely to be. No prizes for guessing whose nickname is Spoon. Can only be Wotherspoon, really. Jared Panchia wins possession in a useful position for the Kiwis. Oh, just needed to pick that up nicely, but it's an opportunity now for the Aussies to build on it. Not too many junior Black Sticks in defense. But a mistake from Ogilvy, allowing New Zealand to recover. Ogilvy has also been very positive today. In fact, the last opportunity for Douglas, which the pass was created by Randhawa, but before that, the winning in midfield had been done by Ogilvy.
I think what Ogilvy did was he carried the ball far too much, beat one man in a one-to-one situation, play the ball quickly, and then run into space to receive the ball instead of standing and running with the ball all the time.
Kane Russell back on to Sanjay Lala. Woods and his stick check was working very nicely with Panchia.
Lovely take by Panchia. Comes in front of the Australian defender and picks up the ball. Play the defense, diagonal pass. It's picked up by Australian defenders.
The numbers just evening out a little bit thanks to what has been a well-contested second half. Some protests coming in, but what a fine finish. That was beautifully done by Tyler Cowley, showing exceptional skill and very good balance in the way that he got rid of that shot, and that has put Australia 3-1 up front.
Well, there was a bit of hard play between both players. They bumped into each other. The ball came loose.
And the finish from Tyler Cowley, even as that stick went flying and hit Kane Russell.
Well, the shot beat Ben Smith completely. It was a very angular shot deep in the goal, in the far corner of the goal.
Kane Russell just coming off with a blow. Watch here for that stick coming from his own teammate Nicholas Woods, and that would have distracted, I'm sure, even Ben Smith, but taking full toll of it was Tyler Cowley. So in the space of 8 minutes in this second half, Australia just pulling away and getting a little bit of daylight between themselves and the Junior Black Sticks. In fact, it has been referred, so we don't know for sure yet. New Zealand believe there was a foul. Your first impression, Cedric?
A clean goal, as far as I'm concerned. There was no stick check. There was the common ball which both players ran for and bumped into each other.
Not had his usual impact in this game. Kane Russell very good defensively. Still awaiting the verdict.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you, Bruce. Go ahead.
I have a decision for you.
All right.
It is a free hit to the attack.
All right.
The original foul by the New Zealand number 1.
All right.
New Zealand keeps their referral.
So confirm it's a free hit for the defender. Free hit up. Confirm?
No, I repeat. The first foul was by the New Zealand defender number 1. So it is a free hit to Australia.
All right. So it's just a free hit? All right. Okay. We'll do. All right, Captain. All right. It's going to be a free hit for you. All right. All right, guys. Australia. Captain.
Well, so there was a foul by New Zealand, then a follow-up foul by the Australian. That's what the decision is from the video umpire, and it will lead to a free hit for Australia. So the goal doesn't stand. So in some ways a retrospective decision, but
It'll be a free hit.
it's something that keeps Australia, or rather New Zealand, in it. Paul Goodwin is not too convinced about it, but that's the way that it has been given now.
Well, Paul could be really feel bad about it, you know, deprived by it, because as far as we are concerned, I think it was, in my opinion, it was a goal.
They've got to try and put this behind them, and to just give a little bit of a boost here to the Junior Black Sticks. 2 goals might have been just a bit of a task to come back to. Now this has been worked all the way back. Australia regrouping and regrouping quickly. For the spoon, sending this one in, takes a deflection of Lala's stick. In fact, it's been given wide, so it will be New Zealand with the possession. Moving forward was Miskimen, but away from him. What was interesting was that New Zealand's Oliver McIntyre got a green card for that particular tackle.
But if it was a harsh tackle, then it should have been a short corner, if not a goal. You know, if you'd given an advantage rule, then it was a goal all the way. But if you're going to blow for a foul like that, then it's question your penalty corner.
There's a lot happening, and it's all happening around the goal mouth of Ben Smith. New Zealand must try and hold their concentration, not let the events of the recent few minutes affect them too much. Dawson. All the way back in defense to Hayward.
The idea was good, but there was no striker on the left. Defender hadn't moved up into attack to receive this long pass from the right to the left, and actually switching the game and changing the point of attack.
Some good news for New Zealand. They have got McIntyre back on the turf now, having served his 2-minute sit down in the sin bin. Hayward. Well, eventually it does find its way through. There's attacking player, and it's smacked through, looking for a deflection. Does get a long corner for his team, does Will Gilmore. Gilmore once again, a typical Australia-New Zealand clash here. No inch given, no quarter asked for. Once again, a concentration of the attack from Australia down that one flank of theirs, the right flank, which has been the favoured one for both teams, it would seem. Captain Beale gives possession away. Elder. Panchia wins a free hit in favour of the Junior Black Sticks, who could do with a little bit of breathing room and some breathing space now.
Well, Australia had this last 5 minutes all onto the New Zealand defence. When they missed a goal, when a disallowed goal, they've been Ben Smith to come out a couple of times. But I think from what he's looking at, it's going to be tighter than what it is now in the last 16 minutes.
To them at least on a couple of occasions. Can recall their opening night of the opening afternoon's match against Argentina, where Kane Posselt had one goal disallowed. But they've got to try and put that behind them. They still have the advantage. They're still 2-1 ahead, but this is a good game. Try from the New Zealand team moving forward. Panchia was looking for a stick of Miskimen, but the defense doing well enough.
Robert Bell put his stick down flat in the circle and got that beautifully, intercepted that ball and played the ball out. Belgians,
no doubt, just watching on and preparing some notes, I'm sure, about what they're likely to do in the next match, which will be for that 5th place. 16 of the best teams. Now 3 remain in contention. France are already through. and one of Germany and Netherlands will join them. Witherspoon is working very hard up front. This is a fortuitous ball which has come through for Australian possession. Will he take it on the reverse? He's got some options. New Zealand falling back well. This is Beale looking to find a foot. Unable to do so. And the Aussies have referred it, have they?
Well, they have referred it. We're going to hear why.
Okay. Right.
I think he's saying it was a stick on a stick.
Bruce, you there, Bruce?
Yes, I can hear you.
Sorry, the question is the Australian is saying that he comes to trap the ball, and the defender came and hit him in his ankle. Can you please check on that? They're looking for penalty for that.
Okay, so I'm looking by a foul on the Australian attacker by the New Zealand defender.
What do you reckon, Cedric? Didn't seem too much at first glance. This will probably give us a better picture.
Yeah, so I gotta get that.
I think George Muir's stick was there.
Hi, Eric, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you, Bruce.
There is no clear reason to change your decision.
All right.
The attacker just trod on the defender's stick.
Okay.
Australia lose their referral.
All right. Australia lose their referral, and I'm going to start with a bully.
That's correct. Restart with a bully.
So it's happened a few times in this Hero Junior World Cup, going for a referral with some time left and losing out on that.
Well, Daniel Beale is trying to move the ball onto his left, and just George Muir just touched his ankle. Basically, it was not deliberate infringement, as what the video umpire said. Was just a trot by Daniel Beale onto the George Muir stick. So there was no foul and no penalty corner given.
And so the bully, which the few times that amateurishly I've tried to play hockey in my childhood, that's what we always thought was the conventional way to start a game. Didn't really have too much of a toss of coin then. In fact, for a long while, that was the way to begin a game, wasn't it? In the meantime, some more frustration in terms of both teams not being happy with the decision. Australia have this free hit. The pressure has been relentless. Can they put this beyond the reach of New Zealand? One gets the impression if they score now, with possibly 10 minutes or so left, then it might be a mountain to climb in terms of the Kiwis. But while there's just one goal behind, they'll always have hope.
Well, you know, if you look at the France game against Belgium, they were 2 goals down and they came back and won that match. So 12 minutes is a lot of time.
Never say never, 007. Some anxious support base for the Kiwis. Witherspoon once again with most of the running, but very, very well dealt with in defense, and it's still with possession of the Junior Black Sticks. Van Vokum with a good ball. It's been received by Matt Rees-Gibbs. Penalty corner.
Well, he ran into the danger zone and a penalty corner given. The New Zealand player was going to receive this aerial ball, and what the Aussie did was he ran towards him within the 5 meters, and a foul was given in the circle, so the penalty corner for New Zealand.
Rees-Gibbs is a very, very hard-working player. What's interesting, though, is that Kane Russell is not there at the moment. So they'll possibly have to work out a variation. All that having said that, number 23, Nicholas Woods, had one of the goals against Netherlands thanks to a penalty corner. So they have some men who can convert. The men poised over it. Jeremy Morris to the left of screen. In front of him, the man making the stop will be Jared Panchia. Very, very identical thus far, 1 of 2. So the first penalty corner of the second half, and it falls to the Junior Black Sticks. Can they bring it back to 2 goals apiece? Shot comes in, and it takes a deflection along the way, just wide, effectively.
A great save by goalkeeper Chittabara. An absolute blinder, because the ball was pushed with a lot of power by Nicholas Woods, and Chittabara had to really dive himself to the right hand side and deflect the ball with a stick, outstretched stick. Fantastic save.
And how critical could that be, because New Zealand haven't had too much of a look at the Aussie goal. One got the impression this was the chance.
Well, if you look at the penalty, good push out, plenty of time, great flick going deep into the corner on the right hand side, but a fantastic save by Chittabara.
Yes, they believe. Just a reminder, this one to play off for 5th spot against Belgium. Team which loses will have to face off against Korea to salvage the 7th position for themselves. Those 2 matches will take place besides the 3rd and 4th place match and the final on Sunday, Super Sunday. And up next, not so long from now, it will be Germany versus Netherlands. Sjode Marina looking quite relaxed at the moment, but he will be just a touch anxious as the moments click by closer to 8 p.m. Now this is Australia on the move. Great opportunity. Ben Smith off his line. Can they finish this off? Some very valiant defending eventually saves the day.
Well, some great defending by Woods. They closed down this player with the ball. Ben Smith was beaten. He came out of the circle, came out of his cage, came out beaten on the dodge there, and plenty of time for the Australian player to hit, but great closing down by the New Zealand defense.
Yes, 3 or 4 men in there. Elder was one of those. Jared Panchia, Nicholas Woods, and that omnipresent figure in defense of Angus Hazlett. Here's Woods now hoping to make it difficult for Wotherspoon. They're forced to turn it back, and possession comes over to New Zealand, but only for a brief while. The Aussies back with it. Here's Kane Russell. Can they force a penalty corner now in these last 8 minutes? Long ball, which has been nicely received by Van Bokum. He's looking for some support, but some good defending too. Bell does well.
I see Australia, whenever they have the ball, they move up into attack. They're only looking up ahead. They don't look at the player behind. And you know, if you play the ball behind and move yourself, there's a possibility of creating space for the ball carrier. They're only looking ahead and playing only in front, not back at all. Especially by the strikers. And New Zealand is closing down the balls in front and winning the turnovers easily.
Well, we've already witnessed a shootout. Can New Zealand enforce another one? He'll be definitely hoping for that. In fact, he'll be hoping for a couple of goals. Just a quick self-conscious glance at himself on the giant screen. Here's Woods. Slipping it through quite usefully. That's well received by Van Bokum. This time a few more black shirts. Oh, good save by Chittabara. Was looking to close down the angle and did it quite effectively in the end, but danger still not averted. Back with New Zealand possession, and Australia just not able to get this ball away. Hit this time. Creating that pressure, so necessary in these last few minutes. If they can get that one goal, then we'll be in for a grandstand finish in this match as well. Milan van Baal has been one of the outstanding players for Netherlands. This was the last chance, Cedric.
Well, a great cross ball in the circle, and Harry Miskinen deflected that ball, but a fantastic save again by Chittabara. Standing upright, making his presence big, and saving the ball with his body.
He had a good game, hasn't he? Andrea Butterini looked very good in the last few matches, particularly the 2 clean sheets against Spain and France. But Chittelbara showing that there's a good bench strength in this Australian squad. Coming up to the last 5-minute mark. The man who's coming up to take the ball now, Kane Russell, will want to be involved in something at the other end. And before long, one might see the junior Black Sticks looking to possibly substitute their goalkeeper with an outfield player. We've seen them do that before. Sanjay Lala then takes on goalkeeping duties with the West on.
It's called a kicking back.
Moving forward once again, the Australians. Aussies once again in a dangerous position, and Justin Douglas has worked so well in combination with Frank Main. Putting the pressure on the New Zealand defense right through. There he is once again hustling the defenders. One thing's for sure, this is where the Australians will want to keep this ball for as long as they can, with time running out for the junior Black Sticks. Randhawa slaps it with force, but it's picked up by the Kiwis. Can they pull away and get something constructive for their efforts in the second half? No, they can't. Not yet, at least. So at the moment, it does look like Australia will be facing Belgium for the right to be 5th in this Hero Junior World Cup, while New Zealand will face off against Korea for the 7th and 8th classification match on Sunday. This is well done by Jared Panchia. Moving forward. Would be a last gasp effort now coming in from the New Zealanders.
Kane Posted have a very harsh tackle and a green card given to him.
And now the goalkeeper being taken off for New Zealand, as one would have expected. And Sanjay Lala will be taking on the green vest to indicate that he will have goalkeeping privileges. So throwing everything at their opponents now. It's been a good outing again for Ben Smith, although he has been beaten on a couple of occasions. Lala in his bib. Here come New Zealand. Oh, just across the face of goal. Still an opportunity, looking for that last-minute deflection, but just cannot finish it off. The intent was right, the execution just left a little late.
But he should have come to the ball instead of the ball, waiting for the ball to come to him, and he would have got a shot at goal.
And now what an opportunity. If Australia can find a clear way through towards goal, have won this free hit. Without a goalkeeper, these can be difficult to deal with. Last 2 minutes. Anxious moments for the Kiwis. And Australia can just about smell that sweet smell of success. Gilby, who's also been impressive today, A number of players getting their first full game and looking quite impressive. Randhawa has been one of their outstanding performers right through the Senior Junior World Cup. Influential figure in the middle, young Victorian. Australia will just not be bothered as long as this ball keeps staying in their position and keeps bobbling around the New Zealand goal mouth.
Australia doing enough to run the clock down, holding the ball in the right pocket there.
Must be said though, New Zealand have been terrific right through this Euro Junior World Cup. Starting off with a defeat at the hands of Malaysia, but all along fought hard. That draw against England, where they were 0-2 down at one stage, and then just nicking it 1-0 against South Africa. That's what enabled them to get through to the quarters, and then against the fancied Dutchman, fighting back well to eventually lose it 2-3. It showed a lot of fight in the second half, and over here it could be said that it has been a battle of equals for most part in this match, but Australia have just cranked it up in the second half. And remember, they had that goal disallowed, otherwise they would have been home and dry by now.
But Daniel Beale doing a fantastic job there in the right pocket. He's held the ball for more than a minute and a half. It was about 1 minute 35 seconds to go, and he's now down to 4 seconds. A fantastic job of maintaining the ball in the pocket there and giving Australia a victory.
Yes, it's a victory in the Trans-Tasman clash, and a well-deserved one to Australia. In the second half in particular, were far superior in terms of the way that they hustled their opponents and did extremely well. Goals on the night for New Zealand. They were the ones who went ahead in the 20th minute thanks to a penalty corner conversion from Jared Panchia. But inside 3 minutes, there was a response from the Aussies, with the eventual touch coming in from Cameron Joyce. In fact, a drag flick which took a deflection, but would have been credited in any case to the man taking the drag flick. And in the second half, the 44th minute, a good opportunistic strike by Dylan Wotherspoon, putting Australia 2-1 up front. And just 8 minutes later, they had a goal disallowed by Tyler Cowley, but they weren't too bothered about it in the end. Did well to hold off a late charge from the Kiwis. So Australia will be fighting for 5th spot, whereas for New Zealand, the best they can finish is 7th. The full-time scoreline here in Delhi is Australia 2, New Zealand 1. And by winning this match, Australia, in a sense, repeat the result of their 3rd, 4th placement clash from 4 years ago. That was a 4-1 result, and today the scoreline also could have been a little bit more one-sided had it not been for some good composed defending all the way through from the Kiwis. One of the heroes of the night, Dylan Wotherspoon. In fact, they've found a good crop of young players, and this man has been outstanding right through this competition and will be in action, of course, one more time. This was what happened in that second half. Ball nicely picked up in midfield by Casey Hammond, and pulling it through, and the last pass coming in from Daniel Beale, and very nicely done. The last touch in from Dylan Wotherspoon, just ghosting in behind Ben Smith, and that's all it took. This was the other great move that came in. It's Justin Douglas and Ogilvie who worked very well together. Douglas with the final attempt. Now this was where the free hit was given for the initial challenge coming in from Ogilvie, or rather from McIntyre, the number 1 of New Zealand. Before that, the ball had been smashed in by Tyler Cowley, but the decision had been overturned. Then there was this penalty corner, and unfortunately they again didn't have Kane Russell at a keen moment, and that's when that ball went through. These are the numbers for this match. 5 shots to 5, so quite close in that sense, but 2 times as many circle penetrations and a few more percentages in terms of possession. Just 5 penalty corners, and 2 of those were converted, and 1 card apiece for both teams, Australia and New Zealand. Australia winning it 2-1. So Australia winning this match and getting through to the 6th playoff, where they'll be up against Belgium, and that should make for a fascinating clash, right? They are pretty much set for the post-match presentation. Let's go down pitch side to Charlie Broom.
Yeah, thanks Dubai, and welcome to the post-match presentation for the hero player of the match. I'm delighted to say that I've been joined by, well, an Indian legend in the hockey world, Balbir Singh Senior, 3 times an Olympic gold medalist, 48, 52 and 56, where he was captain in Melbourne, and also a Padma Shri awardee. Thank you very much for giving us your time, Balbir. And he's going to give the Hero Man of the Match trophy to Matt Dawson from Australia. Well, congratulations, Matthew. You've also got a cheque for 12,000 rupees as well. Okay, Matt, if I could have a quick word with you. How hard was today's game, given that you had a very intense quarter-final yesterday?
Yeah, it was pretty tough backing up after yesterday's disappointing quarter-final, but, you know, we had to get the boys up to win this match to finish high as possible.
And how have you found the experience here in Delhi?
Yeah, it's definitely been an experience, a bit of a culture change, but yeah, no, boys have enjoyed it and it's been a good one.
And on the hockey side of things, I know obviously you wanted to go as far as possible. Just talk us through yesterday, a very disappointing loss.
Yeah, we fought hard and just unfortunately didn't come away with a win at the end.
Yeah, that unfortunate situation of taking your goalkeeper off, trying to sort something out, and then you can see the goal within a matter of seconds of him coming off.
Yeah, we had to try something to try and win the game, but unfortunately it didn't pay off. But yeah, better luck next time, I guess.
And back to winning ways today, though. That sets you up nicely for your final match on Sunday.
Yeah, tough one against Belgium, so it was always tough against the Kiwis, so hopefully we can get another win on Sunday. Yeah,
New Zealand are always difficult games. They pushed you close again here today. But you two know each other so well. Does that make it quite difficult?
Yeah, I guess it is. There's a bit of rivalry between Australia and New Zealand always, but yeah, we've played each other a fair few times, so it's good competition all the time.
Matthew, many thanks for your time. Congratulations on your Hero Man of the Match award.
Cheers, thank you.
Yes, exemplifying the spirit of the kangaroo was Matthew Dawson today. Pulled no punches, and it was also a brave performance from the New Zealanders. Well, we are not done for the night yet, because of course the last match today is the second semi-final, Germany against Netherlands. The 5 times champions Germany up against Netherlands, the team that they beat in the final last time around in Johor Bahru. That will be one to look forward to, and that will come to you just about 35 minutes from now. And the winner of that match will go on to play France in the final of the Hero Junior World Cup up on Sunday. Do join us for that game, and join us also on Facebook. We're at FI Hockey, and on Twitter at FIH_hockey with the hashtag HJWC. For the moment, the news is that Australia have made their way across to the 5th place playoff against Belgium. And goodbye for now.